Hello, how you guys doing? What's going on? Welcome to Jessica Kohai News and Politics. I'm Jessica, and I wanted to talk to you guys about Roland Martin and Charlamagne the God. Charlamagne has clapped back to Roland Martin. I got it all here. You guys don't need to go anywhere. And I want you guys to hear what Charlamagne had to say to Roland Martin. When I tell you, baby, it's something serious. I need you guys to comment. I want to know how you guys feel about this. And later on today, I'm going to replay Roland Martin clap back, because you know he did clap back at Charlamagne the God, but I want you guys to hear this first. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Let's react to Charlamagne the God on Roland Martin and all this political party. Okay? Check this out, you guys.
I ain't trying to be donkey today no more.
They should be embarrassed by what they already did. I'm not making these people do these things.
Called Donkey of the Day, and it really caught me off guard. Damn, Charlamagne, who got the Donkey of the Day today?
Well, just hilarious. Donkey of the Day for Monday, November 10th goes to Roland S. Martin. Y'all know Roland Martin, left-wing political commentator, founder of the Black Star Network. He hosts his show, Roland Martin Unfiltered, on YouTube. Oh, and let's not forget, he is a Democrat dancing machine. Oh, Roland will cut a rug for the Democrats, you hear me? Okay, he loves dancing for Democrats so much that he won't even go to the right when the Tootsie Roll is playing. Okay, it's all to the left for Roland, and that's fine. Okay, respect to him and his political allegiance with Democrats. So it wasn't a surprise to me that Roland had an opinion on my opinion of this current government shutdown, because I feel like Democrats, even though they put up a great fight, it was a valiant effort in regards to healthcare. It was a fight they couldn't win right now. Okay, keyword right now. So open the government back up, because people are out here suffering. Roland didn't like that. Okay, he posted this video with the headline, "Beyond Idiotic, Roland tears down Charlamagne's shutdown misinformation." That's the word that got my attention, misinformation. What did I say that was misinformation? Well, let's listen to Roland Martin.
Do me a favor. Do not listen to people like Charlamagne the God, okay? So Charlamagne was talking about this government shutdown, and he made a comment as relate to what Democrats should be doing. Y'all have that?
You know what I don't understand, Mimi, and I don't know, maybe you can explain it to me. That the healthcare is going to go up anyway because of the big, beautiful bill, because that didn't include the extension of the tax credits to keep the cost down. So if it's going up anyway, what's the point of Democrats taking a stand to keep the government still closed?
At this point, you're right, because the premiums, which the open enrollment started this weekend, November 1st. And so people are getting those letters in the mail. In fact, one person in Utah, a woman in Utah, she told ABC News that she opened her bill and saw that her monthly premium had already jumped from about $400 a month, Charlamagne, to over $2,000 a month. And so at this point, it's like, what's going to happen? Is it retroactive? Like, how is this going to work as we continue to go forward? So you're absolutely right.
And the premiums are set for a year. So at this point, if the premiums have already gone up, if they set for a year, at least give the people some relief and get the government back open, man.
Do not listen to what the hell he just said. That to me is beyond idiotic, because this battle that we're seeing is not solely about healthcare. Rebecca, I don't know what the hell that was. That was just bull.
Roland, what makes what I said BS? I said the healthcare is going to go up anyway because of the big, beautiful bill, because that didn't include the extension of the tax credit to keep the cost down. That's fact-based. Okay, Mimi pointed out that some people were already receiving higher premiums since the beginning of the open enrollment period. People have been receiving notices of higher premiums. So where was the misinformation? Roland, you may not agree that Dems should concede and vote for the government to be reopened, but don't say it's misinformation. Okay, maybe I gave too short an explanation. Maybe I oversimplified it. Maybe I should be clearer for the audience, and I will right now. When the big, beautiful bill, or as Reverend Barber called it, the big, deadly bill, or as Jasmine Crockett called it, the big, ugly bill, when that bipartisan spending package Republicans forced through, when that was passed, Democrats failed to extend the ACA premium subsidies that were originally expanded under the American Rescue Plan and Inflation Reduction Act. Okay, without those tax credits, ACA or Obamacare premiums increase automatically, and they're already locked in for 2025 since insurers file and finalize their rates months ahead. So if healthcare premiums have already gone up and are fixed for the year, then keeping the government closed, the fight for lower premiums, makes no sense to me, especially when on top of high healthcare prices, so many people are suffering right now because of the government shutdown. And that's what I care about, the people. Okay, that's why I said what I said, because of the people who are being hurt by this. Federal workers who haven't been paid in 40 days, they past due on rent right now. Can't pay for child care right now. Hell, they can't pay for the health insurance they do have because they don't have any money coming in. Not to mention people not getting SNAP benefits. So how is what I said some BS? How is that misinformation? Once again, Roland, if you would have said I disagree with Charlamagne, Democrats should fight and not vote to reopen the government until some concessions are made on healthcare, cool, I would understand that. It's fair. But to say it's some BS and label it as misinformation, that's just a lie. And you did that on purpose. That was intentional to discredit me in the Breakfast Club, but we'll get back to that. He even had a sister by the name of Rebecca Carruthers come in and double down on the lie that we spread misinformation and accuse me of all types of treachery. Let's listen.
Look, what I heard was an exchange of two people who don't understand how this works. So what they're talking about are the health insurance premiums that are in the marketplace. The marketplaces are the state exchanges. The state exchanges is because of Obamacare, aka the Affordable Care Act. Here's the thing. Those premiums are effective January 1, 2026. You get about 60 days notice in most states. Some states put out their new expected premiums back in October, some kind of at the end of September. But this is giving notice of, hey, if you continue at the level of health insurance plan that you have, this is what you're going to start to pay effective January 1. And so the erroneous, I mean, this isn't just misinformation here. This starts to look like this is intentional disinformation. And for the audience, disinformation is where you have bad, misleading information that's intentionally targeted to a certain demographic. The demographic here is Black voters. The reason why is the Black voters are the base of the Democratic Party. Right now, the Democrats are in lockstep saying that, no, we're not going to give you the votes that you need in order to end this government shutdown. You Republicans need to come to us and work out a deal. And so by trying to talk to Black folks, so then Black folks can then talk to Democratic members of the House and Democratic members of the Senate to get Democrats to back down. That's what Charlamagne is trying to do here. So this is disinformation that we're seeing that Charlamagne is doing. This is not just mistaken information. This is intentional, going after Black voters.
Rebecca, I don't even know what you were trying to imply. Okay, you repeated what myself and Mimi just said. You just didn't oversimplify it like I did. But I still don't understand how that leads into you saying I'm intentionally giving out misinformation to Black voters. What is the misinformation? I'm also not trying to discourage anyone from voting in midterms, even though I know we are going to have to fight to have free and fair elections in the midterms. But that's a whole other conversation. But you, Rebecca, sound like you are trying to make me out to be controlled opposition. Let the record show I don't get paid by any political party. I've never taken money from a political candidate for anything. Can Roland Martin say the same? Again, what did I say that was misinformation? Okay, everything I said is actual and factual in regards to what's in the big, beautiful bill. If you disagree with me saying Democrats should vote to reopen the government, once again, that is fair. If you believe me saying I think Democrats have lost is wrong, I understand that too. But that's my opinion, not misinformation. You want to know why I think Democrats have already lost? I'll tell you my position. One, because the Trump administration practices authoritarian strategy. And they don't give a damn about working class people, and they damn sure don't care about the poor. Number two, Republicans are scared to death of that administration, and they have zero reason to make any concessions. They already have everything they want in the big deadly bill. Okay, massive tax cuts stay. ACA subsidy extensions didn't make it in. Deep cuts to Medicaid and social programs already in there. They have zero reason to play ball. Roland knows this, but he would rather sell y'all false hope instead of telling you the truth. Roland knows most of these Republicans have made careers running against Obamacare. They can't go back now, even if it killed them in the midterms. And a lot of people I've spoken to in government, Democrats, by the way, feel like that's why pinning a shutdown strategy around this issue was foolish to begin with. Okay, and a lot of them told me they knew they weren't going to get anything out of this except maybe the promise of a vote on the Senate floor that will ultimately fail. That's why I said last week Democrats lost. Okay, as you can see, that seems to be the case because they reached a tentative agreement yesterday that does not include an extension of the ACA subsidies. And you know who will be one of the first people out here fake dragging Democrats for YouTube views because of that? Roland Martin. Even though he knew that was going to be the obvious political outcome from the beginning. Now listen, if Dems were able to get these authoritarian strategy ass practicing Republicans to make some concessions on healthcare, I would be the first person on this radio saying I was wrong and applauding them. But I never saw it happening. That's why I said I think they lost. I'm sorry that y'all believe in MAGA more than I do. Okay, but I applaud Democrats. Okay, drop on the clues bomb for Democrats. But doing something they don't normally do, and that's fighting. They threw a Hail Mary on behalf of the American people because they know the American people are about to get their asses kicked when it comes to these high-ass health insurance premiums, courtesy of the Republicans. I would have loved for Democrats to get Republicans to fold and make some real concessions in regards to healthcare, but I just don't believe in MAGA's ability to do the right thing. especially when they have zero reason to, because they already got everything they want. Now, remember when Mehdi Hassan was here last week and he said, why do Democrats always have to be the adults in the room? Let's listen.
But you cannot have a political system that always relies on only the Democratic Party being the responsible party. You just can't. America cannot survive. We've created, it's like having toddlers, right? The Republican Party are a bunch of toddlers, and everyone else has to be the adults in the room. And that cannot continue indefinitely.
Mehdi is right. But the reason Dems have to be the adults in the room is because they are, okay? In regards to these current MAGA Republicans, Democrats absolutely are the adults, and we have to count on Democrats to do the right thing, because Republicans won't. Republicans will let this whole society collapse right under the working class and poor people's feet because they don't care. Mehdi is right when he talks about how things are supposed to be, but that's not how things are. So yes, Democrats have to be the adults in the room, because Republicans will have you choosing between starving or being sick, and some folks in this country have no choice but to do both. Now back to Roland. When people talk about the shutdown now, the first thing they bring up is the airlines. By the way, I told y'all on Thursday this shutdown wouldn't last much longer because of the airlines. It's always going to be corporate interests over the interests of the people in this country. But they talk about the airlines, they talk about the SNAP benefits, but those federal workers, sadly to me, get lost in this conversation. Salute to all the federal workers out there, okay? They're getting mentioned last now, and I don't like that. Federal workers aren't getting paid. Do we know what this means in a country where majority of people are living paycheck to paycheck? Roland said something when him and his panel were accusing us of misinformation. It was before he threw to Dr. Niambi Carter, I think her name is. Let's listen.
Niambi, the reason I think it's bad advice is because when you are in political battles, you maximize your leverage. And when you're fighting on behalf of people, they understand that there are people who are not getting benefits. They know there are federal workers who are not getting their paychecks as well. But they also are dealing with an administration that's been flashing and burning and firing people indiscriminately as well. So all this is wrapped up. So what you do not do is you do not capitulate. You do not back down. You don't go, oh, well, you know what? Hey, we'll just go ahead and pack it in. No, you try to get as much as you can.
Well, absolutely. And this is why Wendy Williams' sidekick should not be trusted with political information. I've long had a beef with Charlamagne, so let's just stop there.
Hey, I don't know why people think calling me Wendy Williams' sidekick is a diss. Thank God I got that opportunity 20 years ago. That's one of the reasons I'm here now. But please tell the good Dr. Carter that I don't shine shoes anymore. And how she got beef with me? I never met you. Don't know you, but God bless you, sincerely. But in that exchange, Roland said they understand that there are people not getting their benefits. They understand there are federal workers not getting their paychecks. You know why Roland Martin can say that so nonchalantly? Because he's not potentially facing eviction because he hasn't paid his rent for the month. He doesn't need any money this month to pay for his child care. And SNAP benefits, food. Does Roland Martin, the boo-boo built ass, look like he's missing any meals? Huh? I'm with Senator Catherine Cortez Masto of Nevada. Okay, she's a Democrat. She said before the shutdown happened, we need a bipartisan solution to address this impending healthcare crisis, but we should not be swapping the pain of one group of Americans for another. That's my mindset. And maybe your mindset would be different if you actually spoke to some of these federal workers facing eviction, or if you spoke to some of these people who rely on food benefits. Also, Dems, if you was going to do a shutdown, why not have something in place for the federal workers who are going to need money, or the folks who are losing SNAP benefits? Hell, what's that guy's name? Timothy Mellon? He donated $130 million to help pay the U.S. military personnel. Where's the Democratic donors who are willing to do that for federal workers or people with no SNAP benefits? All you lobbyists who be giving to these Democratic campaigns, now is your time to shine for the people, baby. All the pharmaceutical lobbyists, pro-Israel lobbyists, the lobbyists that represent real estate interests. If you want Democrats to keep making this stand in regard to healthcare, dig deep into your pockets and find some relief for the constituents of these people being impacted by the government shutdown. Once again, we can have an ideological discussion about the government shutdown. We can agree to disagree on that. But to say that I put out misinformation, that's just a fat, rotund Martin lie. Now, I like that. I just got a little bit more, just a little bit more. There is a reason Rotund Martin wants to paint the Breakfast Club, me in particular, as a person spreading misinformation. See, I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit, not too much because it really don't matter. I just want some of you to know people's motivation. Roland Martin is a hater. Okay, he be hating on me behind the scenes to anybody who will listen. He will say something negative about me, and it's always in regards to how I'm moving in this media space. In particular, anything in the political realm. It's always why does he get this? Why does he get that type of thing? Why is he on cable news? Why do politicians go sit with the Breakfast Club? Roland, I don't know. Okay, favor ain't fair, but he will do all that hating, but loves texting my phone asking to come on the Breakfast Club. Correct, Envy? Okay, just be
super correct.
Okay, one day, a few years ago, I'm sitting at home. Roland texts me and says, hey, tonight on my show, we are going to talk about Tyler Perry and BET. At the time, it was rumors of Tyler buying BET. And the headline of the video he posted was Roland's blistering deconstruction of Paramount's idiotic failed attempt to sell BET. So I'm watching this video because he asked me to. And about 40 minutes in, one of the brothers on the panel starts bigging up Roland's Black Star Network, as he should. And then he just do a random shot at me, which Roland tends to let people do. Let's listen.
The Black Star Network is doing something that is, in the teaching profession, we call it God's work. It's thankless work. People might not necessarily understand it, but as you said, when there's something that folk need some reliable information on, you see the numbers explode. They come here. And Lauren, when you said you watch YouTube a lot, I try to stay out of digital world because I try to continue to be analog, as you can see, but I can't fight the future. So I look at YouTube a lot too for that very same reason. And I'm saying this to say that, we saw what happened to Bomani Jones at HBO or ESPN. High quality analysis. He couldn't stand. And then you see them throw something out, Comedy Central with Brother Leonard or Charlamagne, whatever he calls himself. That ain't high quality analysis.
My brother, I don't know your name, but you can big up the Black Star Network without throwing shots at what I was doing on Comedy Central at the time. You can love on Roland and big up what he does without slandering me, but whatever. If that's what you got to do to remain in rotation on Roland's YouTube page, God bless you too. Now, in that same episode, Roland had this to say about me. Mind you, he texted my phone and told me to tune in and listen.
You know what? I have not said this publicly, but I'm going to go ahead and say this.
Uh-oh.
And I would love for the current leadership of BET to prove me wrong. When we were in Atlanta covering Melanie Campbell's grassroots organizing event in Atlanta, this was, May? I ran into a sister and she said, I'm so glad to meet you. She said, I know so much about you. And I was like, really? She says, yes. She says, after the death of George Floyd, she said, the leaders of BET came to me and said, it's time for us to do a news show. And she said, I ran the research. And she said, we did exhaustive research. We studied day parts, we studied shows, we studied other networks, we looked at radio, we looked at newspaper, we looked at podcasting. She said, we studied demographics, 18-24, 24-35, 35-44, 44-54, 55 plus. And she said, after we ran all the metrics, she said the research came back and the number one person they said, Black America said they wanted to see host a news show on BET was you. She said it was you. She said Charlamagne was on the list. And she said, and then when Comedy Central launched his show, she said, they're using my research.
Well, Roland, who else was on the list? Okay, why do you have to let people know that out of all the other people who I'm sure was on the list, Charlamagne the guy was on the list? Roland, I am not your competition, and I refuse to be responsible for how you feel about yourself. You accuse Breakfast Club of spreading misinformation because you are trying to discredit me and the platform I have helped to build as if that's going to amplify what you're doing. You don't have to do that, brother. You already up. You are a 56-year-old seasoned political pundit. You have a lot of respect in the space of political commentary. You are a trusted source for a lot of people, Roland. Be secure in that and stop projecting your insecurities onto me. There's a lot of things I disagree with Roland on, and even with knowing he be sneak dissing, not once until today have I ever spoken on him in a public manner, and it's never been disparaging. Not even a fat joke. And I always thought Tariq Nasheed calling him Gerald Dessert was hilarious. But Roland out here lying, accusing us of spreading misinformation, that's an intentional attack to discredit us. What if I did an intentional attack to discredit you? What if I said, could someone out there make me an AI video? Okay, I want an AI video of the Stephanie Mills challenge. And I want Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffrey singing, I never knew love like this before. And I want Roland Martin in the background of that video dancing for Democrats like he do. I'm talking boogieing for biscuits. And I want the caption to say, we told Roland Martin he can cut in line at the all-you-can-eat bussy buffet if he agreed to be our backup dancer. What if I asked people to do that for me? That would be an intentional attack. But I'm not going to do that. All I'm going to ask you to do, sir, is don't tell no lie on me, and I won't speak truth about you. Please give Roland Martin the biggest hee-haw.
Let me tell you something here, Shola. I need to take a class, honey, because when you professionally respond to somebody, I sit back and I cackle. Okay, my flavor was just gasted, sweetie. I need. So, because every time I clap back, I get in trouble.
But this was a long time coming now.
God bless everybody involved.
This was a long time coming.
God bless everybody involved. And be relaxed. It's cool. I said enough.
But everybody.
I said enough, Envy. God bless.
Notes, take classes. That is how you respond to somebody. And I didn't even know Roland Martin looked like that.
Let's move on.
And so they
All right.
flashed the picture up on the screen. I was like, oh my God.
You see?
I didn't know he looked like that.
See when Bay knows you, Bay.
Let's move on. Let's
Baby,
move
chill
on.
out. See,
Let's move on.
Bay.
We've said
'Cause
enough.
there's more, but all right.
If we need to do more, we'll do more, but
All
probably
right.
not. It's okay.
All right.
Oh my God.
All right. See, when Bay shuts you up, you just shut up. Sometimes
That's
you just got to shut up.
Let's move on.
All right. We'll move on. All right. Well, thank you for that donkey of the day.
Yes, indeed.
Donkey of the Day is sponsored by renowned personal injury attorney Michael the Bull Lamonsoff. Don't be a donkey when you need a fighter on your side. If you're ever injured, go to michaelthebull.com. That's michaelthebull.com. And when you mess with the bull, you get the horns. Every day I wake up, wake your ass up. The Breakfast Club.
You okay?